Are you struggling to book more jobs without competing on price? If so, continue watching this video because I'm going to show you not only that, but also become the go-to company in your area to the point where people already know they want to use you before you even talk to them. So let's step off this track and let's start building a business where we're going to attract high value customers that respect you and your price. Instead, with what I want to show you in here today, we're going to get you away from here, leave everyone else, all your competitors down here, and instead we're going to get you back up here again, as if it was like during COVID when everyone had free money. So let's get off this race to the bottom, and instead we're going to go in the complete opposite direction. The one where you are at the top because everyone knows, likes, and trusts you. And we're going to leave all the competitors down here fighting for your scraps. So here's the deal. Competing on price is a never-ending battle that you will never win. Because what's going to happen is, if just say you originally were pricing a job at, just say $7,000, and just say you were going to make $2,000 off of that. All of you have 4+ stars. All of you are in the Facebook groups or the town groups or whatever it may be. And you know, there's various people that they talk to that are like, go with you, go with this company, go with this company. So in the homeowner's mind, everything is the same because everyone's showing up on a website, everyone's showing up on Google My Business, and everyone for the most part has pretty good reviews. Because this used to work 5+ years ago because that was still new. That was what it was like when I had first started my company in 2016. If you did this, you were head and shoulders above everyone else. But now everyone is doing this. So now you're all the same. And if everything's the same, we're not in an apples to orange comparison. We're in an apples to apples comparison. And if that's the case, if this one's more expensive than this one, they're always going here. What we need to do is get you, instead of being another apple, is to become that orange, okay? Or ideally like a passion fruit. So if everything's this, right? And if we go through and it's like for this, just say you're $7,000 for a job. This company's $6,500 and this one's $6,000, okay? Now, even though you may have been in business for the last 10, 15, 20+ years, and maybe this guy's only been around for 3, and this guy's only been around for 1. But if they've already done all this, the homeowner doesn't know any better. So when everything looks the same, who are they going with? And the answer is this guy, because he's $1,000 cheaper, especially now because everything that's going on between the after effects of COVID and everything else, people are broke. So before, they might have cared a little bit more if you had a little bit better reviews or maybe a little bit better of a website. But at this point, with everyone being broke, they're going to go with the cheapest option if everything for the most part looks the same, right? So what do we do about that? We need to get in front of them in a lot of different ways that no one else is doing. All right, so what's this new method? So basically what we want to do is we want to find a way that allows you to connect with the homeowners. The way that they can almost feel like they already know who you are, who your company is, and like what they can expect, right? And the easiest way that we can do that is through video. Now, a lot of people aren't comfortable with doing video because they don't care. They don't want to see like what they look on video. The reason why we're doing it is because the homeowner had this type of problem. And by doing this, they're now not going to have that problem anymore, right? So it could be like, we're in Sewell, New Jersey, we're installing this nice new vinyl fence because the old fence was falling down and the dog was getting out. So now we're putting in this fence and now the homeowner can let their dog out without ever having to worry if the dog's going to run into the street, something like that, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to answer questions. If you haven't been here before, my name is Joe. I own H&J Fence Supply. I've been in your shoes before. I had an installation company for 7 years that we had since sold, and I know what it's like not to get enough leads, not enough jobs to be booked, and the struggles that you go through, especially this time of year in the winter. So stick around and I'm going to show you some things that no one else is doing, and if you implement this, you will get past these struggles. So what are like the top questions that you ask or people ask all the time, right? So again, related to fencing. Do I need a permit? What kind of fence should I get around a pool? What's the difference between pressure treated versus cedar fence? Things like that. What you're going to do is just answer them one by one, okay? Again, so if you have those main questions, quick video. Hey, this is Joe with H&J Fence Supply, and I was just asked this question about whether or not the person needs a permit, and I wanted to answer that real quick. So the answer is yes, you do need a permit in most cases, except for these situations. It's a quick video like that. Could be like, do I need a, what kind of fence around the pool? Hey, this is Joe with H&J Fence Supply, and in this video I want to talk about the best types of fence for around the pool. In my personal opinion, I would be going with the aluminum fence that you see here. The reason for that is it allows you to block off the entrance for pets and kids and things like that, but it does not block the visibility whatsoever, so it makes it the perfect choice. Things like that, right? The other thing you can talk about are issues, okay? The issues could be maybe another company installed a fence and a customer called you out because the other company wasn't responding and they just need you to fix it. Could be like the gates messed up or post sagging, whatever it may be. And so you would just talk about the issue. Again, it's, hey, Joe here with H&J Fence Supply. Today I'm in Sewell, New Jersey, and a homeowner called us out because they had this fence installed by another company and there was an issue, they didn't take care of it, and this is what the problem is. The post is leaning, the gate's sagging, whatever it happens to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix it by doing this, okay? The other thing that works really well is that if you're at a job site that your guys did, okay? So what you can say is like, hey, Joe here from H&J Fence Supply, and we're in this city, and I was doing a walkthrough after my guys had finished this installation, and I noticed this issue. Could be like the gates were too far apart or the gate was sagging or whatever. Talk about it and just answer why you did what you did. And what's going to happen, most people don't want to go this route, but it's going to show that number one, like you actually care, that you have some kind of attention to detail. And then that way, if there's some kind of issue at that project, that they feel comfortable that you would actually take care of it. So you can do something like that. And then the other one, honestly, it's just it's kind of like a day-to-day. So you'll see this more and more with our content where at the end of the day or throughout the day, typically like when I'm in a car, I'm just kind of talking about what's going on. Could be conversations with people working here, could be conversations that I have with contractors, things like that. And it can be the same for you. So it's something like, hey, this is Joe with H&J Fence Supply, and in this video, I am just heading to Home Depot, but like there was this interesting conversation I had with this homeowner about whatever. And it could be literally anything, because typically like when you're going out to quotes and things like that, you're gonna have some crazy stories. So any type of those videos, post that kind of stuff. Now, the reason why these work really well is because when you have video, it allows you to start showing personality, and honestly, it just gets down to having the person feel like they know who you are. Because if we can build up the where they know, like, and trust you compared to the other guys, what'll end up happening when you have these three companies now? So you have competitor one that they're gonna quote from, competitor two. Next thing you know, that because you're doing all this kind of stuff, that even though they checked off the boxes, you know, for the Google My Business, the website, the work, you know, all that kind of stuff, the one thing that you have that they do not are these types of videos. And these are what are going to allow you to end up booking more jobs without competing on price. It's not to do, but I'm going to show you the next step that will basically take this and put it on steroids. So before we go further, I want to clear one thing up because it's a concern that from every single person that I talk to, whether they say it to me or I see it on their face, right? And the number one thing that they're worried about, and again, we already covered this, is that they are going to suck. And you will. Like, you're going to suck a lot. You're going to watch the first set of videos that you do and you're like, oh my God, these are absolutely horrible. But it doesn't matter. You have to just post them. And like everything else, no matter what kind of hobby you start or anything that you do in life, you always start sucking, right? It's just a fact of life because you haven't done it. And then pretty soon, like, you're gonna keep on doing it over and over and over again. And then what's gonna happen is you start getting better and better to the point where you're actually really good at what you do. And honestly, it comes down to just being comfortable. Because at this point, I've done hundreds of videos, and it's much easier for me now because it's second nature. I don't care what I look like. I don't care what I sound like. I just know the information needs to be told, so now I just do it. So that's that. Here's the problem. The problem with Facebook and things like that is it's a pay-to-play program. Okay? If you had just say 5,000 followers on your business account, which most accounts are nowhere near that. If you had 5,000, like they would show that to like 4,000 people, right? But now what happens is it's becoming less and less and less. And the reason for it is like if Facebook showed your post to everyone, you wouldn't advertise. So that means they're not getting advertising dollars. So now what will happen is even if you have 5,000 people that are following you, what's going to end up happening is you may have like 50 people that see that, right? This doesn't really work that well. So what we need to do is we need to leverage ads, okay? Now, a lot of people run ads on Facebook and they try for like a few weeks to spend a few $100 and it just doesn't work out, right? Now, the reason for that is number one, kind of similar to the content, is when you first start running ads, like you suck at it. Okay, if you don't know what you're doing, you're trying to get leads right away, like you're trying to, put in $100 and try to get as many leads as you can out of that, right? But what we're gonna start doing is we're gonna start advertising without trying to get leads, okay? Now, what's happening is that between, November and like maybe in the springtime when they actually use you, so like April, okay? So you have November, December, January, February, March, April, so what's that, 5 months? So you have 5 to 6 months before they, like between now and when they actually use your service or you or someone else, okay? So what we want to start doing is we want to start producing as much content as we possibly can. Again, that's job site videos, it's day-to-day, it's answering questions and things like that, okay? So if we do 2 to 3 pieces of content a week for that 5 to 6 months, right? So at that point, you might end up producing like 30 plus pieces of content, right? So this is 30 plus times where they could actually see you and hear from you and things like that, where you're building a relationship with them without physically like talking to them, right? If you started, again, answering their questions, okay? If you start doing that, if you start showing the issues, okay? If you start showing the job site videos, so what's gonna end up happening is you're going to become the go-to expert in their opinion, okay? There might be companies that have been around for 50 years and you've been around for 3. But guess what? The same way that back in 2015 and 2016, I was able to game the system with Google My Business. And this is the way that there's 2 big companies in my area. One was around at that point for like 60 years and one was around for like 30. But because of what I did with Google My Business, increased the reviews and everything else, I was able to look like the companies that were around for 30 and 60 years. I understood what was happening, so then I ended up getting as many good reviews as I possibly could. So when these guys had like, they might have 30 reviews, well, I had 100. They were at a 3.2, I was at a 4.9. So what would happen is that when homeowners would look at this stuff, they would go with me because of my reputation, right? Whereas now, again, everyone's doing this kind of stuff. So even this company, they're at like, great, but they're at like a 3.9, they have over 100 reviews at this point. Even if my company has 300 reviews, they still have enough to offset that. And again, everyone's doing this kind of stuff, but no one is doing this, this content. They're not doing these videos, right? And this is what's going to separate you from everyone else, okay? So what we're going to do with this advertising is we're not going to spend the money on ads and expect that we're going to get these leads right away. But what we want to do is, number one, instead of running lead ads, there's basically a few different types. There's lead and then awareness, okay? So a lead ad is basically kind of as it sounds. You make up an ad and then the goal is to get leads from that. So you could be setting up like contact forms, you can have it set up for them to call you, things like that, right? And the other type are awareness type campaigns. This is where you'll see ads. It might be either a picture, could be video, but there's no contact form associated with it or anything like that, right? With the awareness campaigns, they're different. So awareness campaigns, you can do it one of two ways. Number one, you could send it, like if this is your servicing area, you can have it sent to literally everyone that's in there. The other thing that you can do is you can do something that's called like a lookalike audience. So you can actually, through Facebook, is if you can get everyone's email list or email address from all of your past customers, you could send it into Facebook, and then what's going to happen is they're going to show it to people that are most like those types of customers. Okay, this is going to be, again, so this is going to be your cheapest option. If you start running these lookalikes, these are a little bit more expensive, but they're nowhere near as expensive as these lead type. I could probably spend, like, if I spend $100, I might end up having like 100 to 200 people that end up watching that ad, okay? And it's kind of crazy because some of these ads that I'm running, or some of these videos I'm running, it's a 20-minute long video, right? And I have, like, for that $100, I might have like 50 people that have watched 50% of that ad, which doesn't sound like 50%, it's like, but it's on a 20-minute ad, right? So there's 50% of the people that are watching, or 50 people that are watching 50%, they're watching a 10-minute ad, right? So the only reason why they would watch that long of an ad, and it's for me calling out contractors, is they're actually a contractor that needs fence. They weren't somewhat interested. They might be currently in the market for a fence, or they're thinking about a fence. They're thinking they might want one for like next year. Again, there's a lot of people that need the fence now, but they're broke and they're going to, like, it's on its last legs and they're trying to figure out if they want to do it or not. Okay. Same thing with the issues. If you're posting things like that, there might be, you know, a handful of people that are watching like 25, 50, 75% of the video. And then same thing with your job site videos. And again, if people are watching this, they're more likely to be in the market, right? Or it could also be, you know, if you have, here's the person, right? Well, think of everyone that they know. This person may not be the one that wants a fence, but they might be the person that literally knows everyone. So they talk to everyone, they're like this butterfly, so to speak, right? And so any of these people might at some point say, hey, I was thinking about getting a fence or just talking about it or whatever. Well, if this, even if person, so it's the person that's not even really your target customer, if they end up seeing these videos, what are the chances that they start referring you to these people? It's pretty high, right? So then what you can do also with this Facebook, I don't want to get it too in depth because we can get into that later, but all the people that have watched, you know, 25, 50, 100%, what you can then do is put them all into their own list, okay? All right, so this is what the whole process can look like, right? So number one, you're going to shoot this content, whatever it may be. After that, what we want to do is then we are going to post that onto your channel, okay? After that, what we're going to do is we're going to run awareness ads, okay? So once we run the awareness ads, again, these are going to be a lot cheaper than your typical ads, okay? Anyone that has watched 25 to 100% of those videos, what we're going to put them is into a audience, okay? Facebook calls it a lookalike audience. Again, I'm not going to get into that in this video, but that's what you would end up doing, right? So then once they get into that lookalike audience, what's going to happen is then we're going to run lead ads, okay? Now, it doesn't even have to just be lead ads, but it can also be more awareness. So again, we're just going to be shooting the content. Again, you don't have to do all this editing, things like that. I have done other videos that are about using CapCut and Canva and some other tools that make it very easy to do editing. So check in the description for those. But after that, just posting a video, it's really quick. It doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be anything like this. It's just very fast, simple videos, okay? Once you post it, again, we're gonna run awareness ads for that. Again, I will make a separate video on this, but it's very easy. Just go to Facebook Ad Manager, create an ad, and it'll say awareness campaign. Okay, so you're gonna run that into your area. Anyone that's watched 25 to 50 or 100% of those videos, then what you're going to do is they're gonna go into a custom audience, okay? And from there, you're gonna run more awareness and lead ads to these customers, okay? And that's the only thing that you really have to do at that point. And The thing though that most people are getting wrong, and I am guilty of this as well, is not having enough of these, okay? Because with the ads and things like that, there might be an ad that does really, really well. You just don't know why. It might be the way that you start the video, it might be because of the scenery. There could be anything that that make it do well compared to the others. And what most people do, if they don't do like the content and post and they start running these ads, a lot of times is they run one ad, okay? And then they put money towards it. It doesn't do anything. And then they're unhappy about it. And then after that, Facebook, they're no longer running Facebook ads on that, right? And what really needs to happen, the best marketers in the world, you know, the people that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, on ads, is they don't have one, right? What they might have is 5, but they do like 5 a week. They keep on running more and more and more. And they start running ads where, as far as the ad, there's different things you can do, but it could be as far as the actual video itself. It could be about the headlines. It could be all kinds of stuff. But you don't want to go into too much. Again, in the beginning, we're just going to create as many different videos as we possibly can. We're going to post them. We're going to run awareness ads. And again, these are not expensive whatsoever. They're cheap, okay, compared to the other ones. Put them in an audience, and this is down the line, and then you can run these, right? But even in the beginning, if you just do step number 1, 2, and 3, and you just keep on repeating that, you can go to this and start building everything out, right? So the last thing that you can do, and again, option number 1 is to take the content, you post it, and then after that, you run ads. That's option 1. So the other option is you take this content. So what I can actually do is, after I book that appointment, I could be sending either an email, a text message, something like that. And it's something as simple as like, hey, Tracy, super excited to meet you on Friday at 10 a.m. So what we're going to do is we're going to text that content to them, right? And so the goal with this type of content is, again, if they're already calling you, they're already calling other people, right? So it's going to be you plus, you know, another 1, 2, 3, 4 plus other people, right? And then so the goal is, by the time you show up at that door, right, that they already know who you are, right? So how many times do you go out to an estimate and then you get there and then you have to introduce yourself because they don't know who you are? What would happen, and what would happen to your closing rate if they already know you, they like you, and they trust you because you're showing them that you can do the job through the job walk site videos, right? What if you already have a video like that that shows you installing that vinyl fence up this really steep hill, right? So what you can do is like, hey Tracy, excited to see you. I knew you had concerns about installing this new fence up this really steep hill. Here's actually a video of us doing exactly that for this other homeowner, right? What happens if, again, they have 3 people come out? They have you and this is you, right? What do you think is going to happen if you've sent that video? So you've already shown that you can do it. It's already been there, done that. They can visualize now that what's actually been done. But these guys can't. They didn't send it to them, right? So what's going to happen is, number 1, when you knock at the door, they already know who you are, right? So they know you. But then the last part, the trust factor, right? If they've already seen the video that you can already do it, and maybe they've already seen other videos where you've shown potential issues and things like that and how you correct them, whether it was your guys doing it or someone else, between all that, they already know who you are, unless you sound horrible, like they like you, right? And they trust you, right? Now, what about these other guys? Right, so that's you, the other guys. Do they know them at that point? They haven't seen any video, they haven't seen anything from that company. No. Do they like them? Same thing. If they haven't seen anything, if they haven't built a relationship with them, like they don't know any of them. Do they trust them? Now, all 3 of you are sales reps going out there. All 3 of you are going to be like, yeah, I can absolutely do that. We've done it before. Well, we haven't done that before, but like we can figure that out. That's like that hill's not that steep. Like we can do that, right? Well, they may trust them depending on how they come off. Maybe they are like, I don't know, they're older, they seem like their dad or, you know, whatever it may be. But you have actually shown that through the content that you made, right? At that point, again, if they are if they have apples and then you're this passion fruit or whatever, at this point, you stand out above anyone else. What are the chances that they go with you compared to these other guys? Because again, they have this specific problem and you already shown that you can handle that specific problem to the point where they know that if they go with you, that everything's going to be okay. Whereas the other two, they're not sure, right? And if they're not sure, they're more likely to spend that money. Especially with this type of content, what's going to end up happening is you might have pockets of areas, right? So this might be your servicing area, but you might have these pockets here, right? That these are very high income areas. Well, the high income areas, when they have money, they are not concerned about the price. Will they go with you above these guys? Yes, if they have the money, right? Even if they don't and it's tight and things like that, this is where, again, you're much likely, more likely to job. Now, for the high income areas, you're almost guaranteed to book this job at this point. You just are, right? Now, the only way you wouldn't be almost guaranteed, their time is way more important than the money, because the money, they can always get more back. The time, not so much. So again, this is what you need to do. It's that simple. It's not that hard. So again, you're going to take the content, you're going to post it, and then you can run ads. And you're just going to keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's all you have to do. And again, when you start booking consultations and quotes and things like that, same thing. You're going to take that content that you already made, and then you're going to send it to them, right? And then there's going to be times where it's like, hey, Tracy, I'm super excited to see you. And, I know you mentioned about the steep slope and, here's a video about that. There's going to be at some point, they're like, oh yeah, I already watched that, right? And then what's going to happen again is you're going to go up to the door and they're going to know who you are. So anyway, if you got any help or you found something new that you think that you can actually do within your company, leave a comment below. If there's something that you're struggling with or you have some kind of clarification that you need help with, let me know about that as well. If you're having a problem, you don't know how to post something, you don't know how to run the ads, same thing, put the comment below. Again, we'll be making specific videos about this, but I wanted to do more of a high level video of why I think it's so important to take this type of content and make sure you start posting it and then also running ads. And then ideally what's going to happen is again, this is not a short-term fix. This is something where you have to keep on doing it and and what's going to happen is over the next few weeks and months is you're going to start slowly seeing over time that you're kind of like that local celebrity in your area. Like everyone's going to know who you are, and whenever they think of fence or whatever you happen to sell, that you're going to be the number one person that they think of before anyone else, because they've seen all these videos. If you're a fence company, you could be going to do videos with a pool company. You could be doing it with a landscaper, things like that. You could even do something where you're going to restaurants. So if you're going out to eat it anyway, you could do a video and start making it on that, and then you can share it to your page, because what's going to happen is when you share it to your page and you're shouting out that restaurant or whatever it happens to be, they're going to end up doing that for you as well, or at least mentioning you, same thing. So there's your extra credit. But again, if you have any questions, let me know, and there will be a link below to sign up for our email list. So we try to send about 1 to 2 helpful emails a week, and it's about things like this, and you also get notifications when we have new videos coming out. So hope you guys enjoyed, and talk to you soon. Bye.